Do you think I should redo 23.5? Let me know in the comments below. Let's kick it off. I'm going to go over my 23.5 workout, give you guys some tips and tricks and some feedback, and also kind of my input on why I did the workout I did the way I did it. So let's get started. All right, so we're just going to play the workout. You guys can follow along and watch. So watching the video starts with 5 wall walks. The last time I did 5 wall walks, or wall walks in general, was probably in 2022. So at least 3 years ago. So I'm proud of myself for doing that. I've been doing a lot of different accessory work, a lot of different training since then. So I haven't done wall walks. So for myself, it was just to move methodically, hit the standards, and make sure I get those repetitions in. And watching myself, again, I see myself do it not too bad in the first couple rounds, but my goal and strategy was just to move strategically through this. If you know wall walks are a very hard thing for you, take your time, don't rush it, give yourself adequate rest. You do not want to fail on those repetitions. After those 5 wall walks, I went straight to the rower. And for myself, I knew, I'm like, all right, this is a game changer for myself because one, I'm going to try to row as kind of as hard as I can with the ability to still be able to move afterwards. And the reason I say that is because I've been dealing with a lot of back pain, sciatica pain. If you guys have been following along, I've been dealing with this issue for a while now. And I was actually talking to my judge here in terms of talking to Shane, like what the next movement was afterwards, but also like, hey, I may not get to the deadlift. So I'm going to go a challenging pace here, see if I can hold on to it. There's a tie break time after every 5 wall walks. So for myself, I was just going to move through here. Now 50 cals on a row. If you guys know a little bit about my history, I did the marathon row in 2018. I won that event. And in 2013, I did the half marathon row. Sam won that event. I got second in the event. So longer distance on a rower, I'm a fan of. I like it. I also have the mental aspect and the mental game down. I think a lot of people get caught up in like the time. Oh my God, I'm on the row for so long. One, that's a mistake. You need to focus on it mentally. So first tip going into this, know your strategy, know where you can excel. If it's the wall walks, if it's the barbell work, if it's the row, tap into that. Lean into that. Nothing is wrong with that, but just make sure you know where you can excel and maybe where you need to adjust. So again, a little bit of backstory, dealing with my sciatica, dealing with my back pain. I was a little nervous on specifically the deadlifts. I thought the weight was 125. It ended up being 155. I haven't lifted that heavy in a long time. So my strategy was like, all right, I'm gonna go a little hard on the row here. I think my first minute, I got like 20 calories, 21 calories, which is a pretty fast pace. I settled into it. I slowed down just a little bit. You kind of see my stroke, my positioning. I really focus on the recovery here. So big, long pull, recover. Also, if you notice, I incorporate a long, short pull. If you've ever taken any of my classes or watched any of my videos on rowing, I talk about a long, short pull, which is a long traditional pull, and then a short or an RDL pull where you leave your butt and hips back and use more of your back and hamstrings. Just allows yourself to utilize a little different muscle groups in this. So again, I incorporate that into the 50 cal row. I can't remember my split time, but I can, go look at my paper if I need. But the goal was to move methodically out here. After I get off the rower, I was a little out of breath, a little bit more than I thought and anticipated. But myself was, again, just recover as much as I can on the wall walks and then get to the barbell. So again, the deadlifts for me, 155, not a heavy weight in retrospect to what I've done in the past, but currently I haven't lifted this much weight in a long time. I was really nervous about the back, and if you watch some of my deadlifts coming up here shortly, I do a good handful of them kind of like an RDL, but I'm kind of bracing. My strategy was to do them all singles from the get-go. So tip 2, if you know the barbell is heavy for you, and again, heavy is relative, don't be afraid to break up those reps as singles, fast singles. That means you do a lift or a rep, get back on the bar. Try to minimize that extra time where you walk around. So again, I finished the row, felt it on my shoulders. I also did 100 push-ups, 100 squats, 100 lunges, and 100 V-ups the day before, Thursday. Probably shouldn't have done that, but hey, you live and you learn. So again, walking to the second set of wall walks here, I was starting to fatigue a little bit, feel it on my shoulders, but my goal and focus here was just to make every rep count, get them up. Again, I haven't been doing much handstand walking, handstand push-ups. I've been doing upper body pressing or upper body pulling, but again, so that's going to help me have my shoulders and my lats feel strong, but this is just a different position, obviously, so take it for a grain of salt. But again, that second tip and point is know your whatever rep scheme you're going to utilize for the barbell, for the wall walks, for the row, and tap into that, lean into that. And again, different strategies are going to work for different people. Some of the athletes, competitors, I gave my advice and my input is going to differ because maybe they're a little stronger, they aren't dealing with back issues or sciatic issues. So I wanted to make sure I was just prepared, so I wore a belt for this, even though again the weight is light in terms of what I've done in the past. I really wanted to make sure that I was strategic in being able to get through this. When I saw this workout, I was really nervous. I told myself, I was like, man, if I could just get through the deadlifts, that'd be great. I was a little hesitant in terms of how the power cleans and the power snatch were going to feel. But as you notice here, I almost get my torso like parallel to the floor, which typically in deadlifts, you want to have a little bit of angle. If you've watched any of my coaching tutorials, I talk about the shoulders being above the hips, hips being above the knees. And if you look at my position here, my triangle, I almost have my shoulders and hips in a line. Again, I'm modifying and I'm doing what's best for myself. I have long legs and long arms, so I'm fine with doing that. I really had to focus on pushing my abs out, really big core in terms of big cores and pushing the abs out and engaging my abdominals. I could feel pinching and pain in my back, but again, on a scale of 1 to 10, it was closer to like a 2 or 3, so I maintained it. I was able to get through it. If your strategy on the deadlifts is not singles, some other options could be maybe you do fives or threes. 3 to 5, I think, is a good set if you feel pretty comfortable, because you could crush the deadlifts, but it's not about how fast you get through the deadlifts. It's how fast you get through one movement and get to the next and continue to recover. How will your body adapt and change and recover to be able to do the next movement? So again, getting through the deadlifts here. I remember near the end, like the fast 5 reps, I was like, woof, this is getting a little spicy for my back. But I knew, hey, after these 25 reps, I'm going to break. I'll go to the wall walks. And you got to think, when I go from this position, if you notice my back, I'm pretty flat. If you start to get any flexion, meaning rounding of the back, you got to think when you get into that wall walk, you're going to get into some sort of extension. So if your back is not warmed up, I think it's very important that you warm up your back. That could be some glute bridges, some cat cows, some bird dogs, some dead bugs. That is what I incorporated into my warm up. I did do a row warm up as well as some other exercises. So after the deadlifts, obviously, I had some amazing members. Mike and Sean were able to pull off my weights and get me ready for the next set. So again, after those deadlifts, I was like, all right, my back's good. I can keep going. Yay. My biggest concern, like I said, if I felt a pop or a pinch in my back and I couldn't continue. But again, I have to look longevity, right? I'm not training for the competition, the games here. I'm not training for the open. My focus has pivoted and has moved on, but I love throwing down with the workout. This was 8:30 class and we did it all together, which was, again, always fun. I love working out with other people, especially since I've done a lot of working out by myself over the years. So again, if your strategy is a little different, lean into that. As you see, I kind of fatigue and tire a little bit more. So don't be afraid to rest a little bit more. Just make sure every rep counts, especially on the wall walks. Those are only 5 reps, but you're putting so much energy and effort into each repetition. It's very important. So as I wrap those up, I tried using my watch. So I typically use my watch for laps or time. It's built into me. It's ingrained to me. I've been doing this forever, even before training in this style. Even when I was doing half marathons or Tough Mudders, like I always have some sort of watch on me. So as I got to the power cleans, I was pleasantly surprised. My back didn't hurt as much. Again, still feel pinching and pain, but like it's minimal compared to what I thought. So you watch me. I'm really methodical and kind of slowing the bar down as I bring the bar to my thigh and then pushing my butt back, kind of riding the negative a little bit. So I believe my strategy here, I was thinking maybe I'll do 5s across the board, but I was like, you know what? I haven't done tons of volume. So not that I can't do this, but how am I going to feel later on? Will I be able to do the power snatches? How will my row feel? So I did 5s, then I braked, then I did 4, 3. I think I did 2 sets of 3 because it was like 5, 9, 5, 9. Yeah, 5, 9. 5, 4, 3, 3, and then I did some 2s and I think some singles. So again, you notice my positioning technique. I'm trying to really keep that bar close to my body. The return to the floor is what irritates the back because I'm bracing and I'm hinging, pushing my back away. But I was really trying to focus on form technique here. Again, 85 pounds, relatively light. My max clean, power clean, I think is like 225, 230 back in the day, maybe even 235. But again, I have been training like that. So as soon as I started to feel like, hey, I'm fatiguing, I just went to fast singles. So how does this strategy and how does everything I'm talking about help you? Well, hopefully you can take some tidbits and kind of feedback from yourself. If you feel like you can do big chunks in the power cleans on your weight that you're utilizing, go for that. If you feel like maybe the beginning you start out good, then you falter, don't be afraid to do negative splits. 5, 4, 3, or 3, 2, 1, right? As soon as you feel like you need to drop to singles, I will tell you, you need to stay close to that bar. Drop a single and follow back down. Here, I'm fatiguing, I'm slowing down. Take my own advice, right? But the biggest thing is if you can follow that bar. As soon as that bar drops, right, take a breather, reset, go back down. But the more you step away or back or to the side, you're losing adequate time that could hopefully be utilized other places. So I finished those power cleans and I'm thinking, all right, yay, my back is good. I'm slowing down more than I want, but I was like, all right, let me just get through these repetitions again. And of course, we have amazing members, Sean and Mike, changing my weights, which is incredible. So again, making every rep count. Started to feel a little bit. You notice how I push back. I will say, try to bend at every joint, knee, hip, arm, push back versus just trying to keep your body nice and straight. That's going to require a little more strength and core work, and you want to kind of reserve that. Now, again, if you are a very experienced individual and you're training at a high level, this strategy may not work for you, and that is okay. Find what works best for you. Trust your strategy. Trust what you are able to do, and lean into that. On the row, maybe push the pace a little bit. Push the ability in terms of the repetitions that you're doing for the deadlifts or the power cleans or the power snatches. If things fall off the bus, like if the wheels go one way and you're going the other way, it's okay. Be okay with that adaptation and know, all right, I need to change. So like, for example, you're seeing me on these wall walks, I'm resting way more than I anticipated. But again, if I'm going to be accountable to myself, if I'm my own coach here, I have to say, all right, when was the last time I did wall walks? What is the volume of my upper body pressing and holding? Very minimal, because I haven't done it in 3 years. Again, accountability. So same thing to you. If you haven't been accountable to it and you haven't done it, then don't you hold yourself to that fire. All right, so the real test for myself was these power snatches. When I warmed up, the barbell felt fine. 65 felt really heavy. Now, if I'm looking at this, when I watched my video a second ago before I started kind of like, all right, how's this going to look? I noticed that I kind of squat a little bit lower than I typically do in my snatch position. As I get set up, I have a little more of an upright torso. I have long legs and long arms, so I keep my feet in I would say a squat position, right? So my feet are underneath my shoulders. I'm really dipping underneath that bar. Typically, I would do almost like a muscle power snatch, a muscle snatch where I'm keeping my butt back. I don't rebend my knees. It's relatively lightweight, but I knew for myself I couldn't put that load on my back. So I really emphasized for myself more of a bend in the knee when I receive right there and then stand up. Now, I will say I felt pretty good. Again, weight is light. This felt way better than I anticipated. Back was feeling it. But again, I'm like, I'm going to keep going. I'm a competitor. Can I finish this workout now? That was the question. Can I actually finish this workout? So I did think a couple twos, some singles, and then I did a couple twos here. And again, I really focused on that bend in the knee. So if this weight is heavy for you, go singles, make every rep count. If this weight is light for you, don't be afraid to do sets of 3s or 4s or 5s or 2, whatever it might be. If you start to feel like you're resting a lot, go to fast singles. The cycle time is going to be very, very important here, especially as it gets later into the workout. Now, I know right now I'm about 12 something. I think I'm a little bit like a little off because of when the timer started and when the video started here. But around this time frame, the goal was just to continue to move. I was thinking, all right, if I can finish these power snatches, get back to the wall and get to the rower, I could definitely finish. So again, I get a couple more reps in. I think near the end, I start to do less of a leg bend. I start to feel a little bit more, a little bit less in my quads. I was like, all right, maybe I can go a little faster here. I would say I had kind of a clean slate on what to expect because I just wasn't sure how my back was going to feel. But I gave it a shot. I tried, and I think this applies to anyone. Give it a shot. You won't know till you try, but also listen to your body. If you're like, nope, can't do it, that's fine. If I would have felt anything in my back, if I felt a pop or anything, I was going to stop because it's not worth it. If I continue to push through it, if you continue to push through it and you're not able to recover, and you can't, go play with your kids, you can't sit in the car, it's going to be a game changer for you. So anyways, I finished up the power snatches and then, oh, perfect. Awesome timing. So I pinned up the power snatches and I'm just thinking, man, my shoulders are smoked. But hey, the last 5, and you'll actually notice my technique here. As I push up, I kind of waddle from side to side. So I had tried to have a minimal bend in my elbow. So instead of being more of a big bend, I try to like shuffle side to side. And that shuffle side to side allows me to kind of keep my arm a little bit straighter. I use less of my triceps, more of my shoulders. But if you are really strong in your triceps and you're okay with that bend, play around with different technique and be okay with maybe more of a bend and then a straighter bend. I will say laying on the ground is going to compress your lungs. So don't be afraid to get up in that kind of tabletop position and take a break there. Just make sure your fingers, hands are touching the lines and you're making that rep count. That was my biggest thing when I came to the hand or the wall walks in this position, was making sure every rep count. And I did not get a no rep because the last thing I wanted to do was to do another rep or redo a repetition. So that, again, my goal and my focus. So once I finish these reps here in a second, the focus was get to the rower and just go all out. Like I said earlier in the big prior set, I did a long short pull, so a long traditional pull, and then I did kind of a RDL pull. As you tell, I have a little bit of energy. I jogged to the rower, and the goal was just to get on and off as quickly as possible. I think my split time was like 14:27, I think. Oh, wait. I think I have the paper right here in my back pocket. I just remembered. Yeah, so 14:27 was like my tiebreak time when I finished the last set of handstand, or I keep calling them handstands. Technically you are in a handstand. But the last set of wall walks was 14:27. And then my total time, which you guys will hear in a second, see in a second. I'll tell you guys in a little bit, but I wanted to really get to the rower and really focus. So my strategy was to stay above 1,000. I think I was pulling around 12 to 13,000. Per calories per hour. But I really wanted to make sure that I was keeping it above 1,000. But also I was looking at my splits. So like I said, in the first row, I got about 20 calories that first minute, a little bit hotter than I anticipated. But the goal was to get a little faster in the beginning and then taper a little bit, see if I can maintain that pace. And I think around like the 30 to 35 minute mark, my judge and I were talking a little bit here, like, hey, I want to kind of turn it on. So I started to pick it up a little bit. And then once I got to the 38 calorie mark, I was like, all right, it's balls to the walls. I gotta go. This is the sprint. This is like the last part. Now, I'm comfortable doing that. If you are not, if you're like, woof, 12 calories, it's a lot to go. Break it up into smaller chunks. Maybe at 6 calorie mark, or maybe at 30 seconds, that time frame, you know, all right, I can go ham for 30 seconds. If you're close to that cutoff time or close to that time cap and you want to try to get a few more calories, push the last 30 seconds, push the last 45 seconds. Don't be afraid to challenge yourself, but also know if you do that in the beginning and you crash and burn, you're like, oh my God, I did that too early. Then readjust, right? If you decide to do this again, which I'm waiting for you guys' comments below to let me know if I should do this again. I'm contemplating it, but not sure. Is it worth it? Back health or better score or better time? Back health obviously is more important, just FYI. Anyway, so you can kind of see here, I notice when I get fatigued and tired and when I'm trying to push, I'll close my eyes and I'll kind of tuck my chin and look down. Typically, when you're rowing, you want your eyes on the horizon, you want your eyes on the monitor or past the monitor. But for myself here, I was like, all right, I just got to hold on. My arms are fatiguing. I started to change or shorten my stroke a little bit. I try to go a little faster here. I do a little arm bend as I was trying to keep kind of get that handle closer to me so I could lean back more. Obviously, as you see here, you kind of can't really see me because I'm leaning straight back versus from the side. But I really, really, really wanted to get done with that workout. So again, tips and strategies for you is know your pace on that rower, right? Find where you can push and where you need to scale back. Know your strategy and your breakdown for the barbell and how you're going to incorporate that into the deadlifts, the power snatches, and the power cleans. Also, know what you're capable of doing of the wall walks. Don't be afraid to adjust. Don't be afraid to take a break. Don't be afraid to push that pace if you know you're capable of it, right? It all takes a little bit of time and adjustment. So again, as you can finish here, all right, as you can see me here, I think I looked at the clock just a second, and now I'm just going all out. I'm just leaving my butt high, and then I finished in a total of 17:24. So that was my total time, 17:24. Is it underneath the time cap? Yes, yay, hallelujah. I'm happy. As a competitor, do I wish I could have gone faster? Yeah. Do I want to beat other people? Yeah. But again, that's not my time and space and where I'm at right now. So I'm happy with the effort, proud of myself. If you guys are getting after this workout, good luck. Feel free to leave your comments below on if I should do it again or not. If you do this workout, share your times. If you feel comfortable, if not, totally fine. But if you have any questions, feel free to share this with others. Hopefully it's beneficial and helpful to them. This was a solid workout. Of course, thank you to my judge. He was awesome. Appreciate the support. We actually judged each other on the previous workout. So when I saw him coming in the gym, I was like, hey, Shane, you want to be my partner? I'll go first and he wants to go second. Because I wanted to go first and get that workout done. He preferred to go second and get it done after he watched strategy. So hope you guys found this beneficial and helpful. And thanks for sharing and watching.